Well, welcome back, everybody, to segment 3, which is actually segment 2, but today it's segment 3 of Relentless Talk Radio, episode 33 with Angela Johnson. Hey, Angela, pull your face up a little bit more so we can see more of your face.
What? You can't see my face?
There you go. There you are. I love you live, but this banner on the bottom is kind of funky. A little bit more. We get your chin kind of underneath the banner a little bit. There you go. Cool. Awesome. So I have Angela Johnson with me this time talking about her stuff. Gosh darn it. I wanted you to come back on and talk about your stuff because you're so busy talking about fabric and the Arizona, the Apparel Foundation, that I wanted to make sure we had some time to talk about your stuff, because I think sometimes that gets lost in the mix when you're a founder of 2 organizations that are bigger than you. People stop to, you don't get a chance to talk about yourself very often. So I want to know about what you're doing with your stuff. So tell everybody the name of your companies and what you do with your companies.
So the companies that you just mentioned that we talked about last time are Fabric, the Fashion and Business Resource Innovation Center. That's the fashion incubator for Arizona that I co-founded. And then the nonprofit associated with it is the Arizona Apparel Foundation, and then the for-profit that I founded to help all of the other designers in town with their design development and education and consulting and directory is Label Horde. But then on top of all of that, I do have my own clothing line, and it's just called my name. It's just called Angela Johnson Design. And that was actually around longer than the other things. And that's basically the way I made my living while I was trying to cobble together an industry for Arizona and provide the incubator and everything else. So it's basically a collection of dresses that are made out of recycled t-shirts that I've been doing for about 18 years, I guess.
At just 18 years. So you started that organization when you were 4.
Right?
I love your work. Now, recently, I was at a broadcast that was in Tempe. I was at a show that was in Tempe, and you and I saw each other for that show. I don't remember what it was. Well, where was it again? It was in Tempe.
The Tempe Center for the Arts. They have a museum in there or a gallery in there, and the exhibit for that gallery was something that I got to participate in, and it was basically a pop culture inspired exhibit, and I was able to put in I can't remember, I think 8 pieces on display, which was really awesome for about 4 months. So my stuff was in a gallery in the Tempe Center for the Arts, a beautiful place for a long time, and it was really exciting and felt like a milestone, in a career to have a whole display in a gallery for that long. It was really neat.
Well, it was really cool, and you were included with other pop artists as well, and that was kind of cool. That was definitely very cool.
Mine was only fashion in there. There were a lot of different types of art in there.
Now, how did you get? I'm going to close my door here for a second. How did you guys get? How did you kind of come up with the idea with the t-shirt dress? Because I can get the sustainability piece of it, but what I often think when I see something out of the box, gee, how did that happen? Like, How did you think, I'm going to take t-shirts, I'm going to place them together, I'm going to make a ball gown out of it? How did that happen?
Well, it was kind of a necessity. So in the 1990s, I was a fashion designer in Los Angeles, and I had a collection of women's clothing that was sportswear, kind of inspired by the snow, skate, and surf industry. And It's called Monkey Wench. And when I moved to Arizona, I had to close that business down because Arizona didn't have any manufacturing resources. And so I wasn't able to continue manufacturing. And that was the reason I started everything that I do today. Basically, the first thing was I wanted to still be able to design clothing, and I knew I couldn't manufacture it. So I had to be really creative about what I was making so that I could make one-of-a-kinds and justify the higher price for a one-of-a-kind. When you mass produce something, each item becomes a lot cheaper because you're making so many of them. So the development costs are kind of split between thousands of pieces instead of one. Whereas when you're making one, all the development is in that one piece. So one piece has to cost a lot of money. And I knew that nobody's just going to buy an average everyday garment unless there was something special about it. So for the price that I'd have to charge. So I started to think what could be special about it. And in Arizona, there weren't really any fabric stores or all the resources to make it. So I thought, instead of regular fabric, maybe I could just recycle clothing and, turn it into something else. So I started using t-shirts, but I also started using like button-down shirts and sweaters and other garments. I even used, this is funny, I even used men's tidy whities before. They're not used, but they were basically to make skirts and things. And it was really a cool, like, upcycled collection, but I wasn't really getting too much traction with it. And then one day I talked with an expert, a consultant, who told me to focus on one thing. And the one thing that I thought was the most interesting was the t-shirt dresses that I was making. So it's basically a ball gown made out of t-shirts, and it takes about 25 t-shirts to make one of them. And so what makes it unique is it's the same silhouette every time. It's just a strapless, full, big skirt ball gown, but each time it takes 25 different t-shirts. So each one looks like its own creation, and it comes in different lengths, short, medium, or long. So I don't have to reinvent the wheel every time I make one. I can make it relatively quickly now, and I become an expert at it, but each one is unique in that way. So I can charge what it takes to actually, make something a one of a
create it.
What was that?
You can charge what it takes to create it, because you've got a formula. You and I, our brains think a lot alike. We're about creating systems and processes that are duplicatable.
Yeah.
But we do it in a creative, as creative entrepreneurs. And so I always smile when I listen to you talk, because I can totally see how it came to be. And I just love that. Now, I want to wear one of your ball gowns to some event.
Oh, that'd be
In
great.
fact, I want a photo shoot tomorrow. If you can get one over here tomorrow, I'll take some pictures of it and share the pictures with you. This FYI, it's short notice. But if you want to send one over to downtown Phoenix, I'll wear it for you tomorrow. But another time, I'm doing a photo shoot for this crazy OCB Slayer Classic bikini competition I'm doing.
Oh,
so
yeah.
while I'm taking advantage of the tan to get to do a shoot, but also kind of drawing attention to the health and wellness part of Relentless Talk Radio, and some of the work that I'm doing again in the health and fitness space. These images will support that effort. So while I just got my tan done this morning at Chambers Clinic. They're sponsoring me, and they did the first. This is the photo shoot tan. And then tomorrow I'll go back and I'll get completely blacked out for the bikini competition tan. And so we didn't want me completely black for the photo shoot. So if not this time, another time, I'd love to wear one of your ball gowns to a big event so more people can see it. They're really fantastic. They're really, really lovely. And I love the idea that they're all individual and they're all have a personality of their own. And that nobody has exactly the same ball gown. But at the same time, they have something that's recognizable. So you created a brand that has uniqueness, but also has total recognizability. And I love that.
Thank you. I actually was getting a lot of requests from men too. So I started making blazers, and now men can own it too. You don't have to just, be a woman wearing a ball gown, and the blazers are reversible too. So it's like
wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's cool. And know what I like about that? And they're in the back. We can almost see them. Can you turn the camera so we can see them? Because I just love it. I love the bodice. It has a very kind of like medieval look, like kind of corset look to it. But at the same time, it has that kind of Betty Page retro thing going on. And that's what makes them so flippin' cool. Those are awesome. Super awesome.
Thank you.
Which is a lot like your personal style, I think. I think you're very retro. The way
I love retro stuff. So always inspired by music as well as different eras. And I think something this silhouette is pretty timeless. But it still also identifies as sort of a pin-up-y, 50s kind of retro thing, which I love.
I love I had the square bangs for a while with the curls. I had that for a while. I love that.
The Betty Page.
How do you balance between like what you're doing, you have a business inside a business inside a business inside a business. And so you've got a lot of things that you're doing, a lot of people that you're managing, the state and federal and local organizations that you're working with. How are you managing all of that while still being an independent entrepreneur with your own business?
I'm not well, so each one is its own entity, and so I just have to be really organized is all it is. I basically the fabric like incubator has the umbrella of the nonprofit and the for-profits under it. So I manage the nonprofit, and then I have the for-profit, which is the directory and the consulting through Label Horde, and that's its own separate entity. So I have to manage that too. But they're all connected, and so it's a really complex model already. And then with my clothing line, admittedly, it doesn't get as much attention as it used to because I'm so focused on, helping other designers establish themselves here and find their resources with the fabric incubator and the nonprofit. So I focus most of my efforts there. But I love to be creative too, and I don't want to lose that. So I keep I keep my website up, and I still make stuff for people. I get orders, a couple times a month for one of the dresses. And so it keeps me creative and still doing what I love while I'm helping others. But it's hard to balance all of those different businesses and keep control.
You and I have this in common. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted you to come back in and talk about just your business. Because I could very easily never make art again. I have so much going on, especially now with my health and fitness part of my company. And so much going on with consulting to business owners and things that I do additionally outside of there. And the philanthropy work that I'm doing personally, where I'm just giving my personal time, I could just stop making work completely and never paint again. So, with this project that I just did, the Art of Fearless, the Giving Back, which you guys were part of, 3 of those organizations are going to get paintings that they're going to be able to auction off at different things. That'll keep me creating there. But I'm also creating. I'm going on vacation this week, and I'm going to just kind of do some walking and talking and thinking, right, and try to disconnect from my social media for a bit. But I'm going to be creating something that I'm doing where I have a schedule where I'm continuing to make work, that I have an opening next year that is that work. Because for me, if I don't make a public commitment that this work is going to be shown at this time, it very easily could just fall by the wayside and I don't make it. So I'm trying to figure out how can I, just like yourself, how can I streamline what I'm doing so it takes less time, but I'm still being creative and I'm not losing that part of my momentum at the same time. So it's a balancing act when you have a very complicated business plan like both you and I do. And you're married. I know, right? You're married, you've got children, you have a life, right? Yeah, you have to exercise and take care of yourself and have some kind of, girl time eventually, right? I mean, you're lucky that what is that? Right? You're lucky that what you do, right?
I wish I could exercise. That would be the thing that kind of gets a little bit, pushed to the back burner. So good for you on doing that.
Well, you see what I did there for myself. I had to bring health and fitness. Has always been part of my mix, but I had to get more public about it because I didn't want to not do it. So really the 4 pillars of philanthropy, health and fitness, art and fashion, and entrepreneurism are really my personal interests in life, right? So this is the way I've kind of jerry-rigged my life to be able to participate in those 4 things so that one of them doesn't get missed.
And announce them so that you stay accountable. That's brilliant.
Yeah, right. All right. So you and I are going to have some girl lunch at some point and find out what your own personal creativity accountability mechanism is going to be, because what you do is really fantastic, and I don't want the world to lose the work that you personally have to contribute to our planet, because it's significant and it's important.
Thank you. That's so nice.
And it's just the perfect truth. You know what I mean? I love your work, and I think that there's more in there that you're learning right now in different ways that will come out in different ways as a creative person. So how can someone buy one of your pieces? How can they order one?
I have a website. It's Angela Johnson Designs with an S on the end, designs.com. And then everything is ordered on there. You can actually select the style, and then select even a theme. So like if you wanted all rock shirts or all travel shirts or something, you can even select that you're going to supply your own collection of shirts. That way it's a keepsake of something that, you know, is special to you. You can select the color. You can pay for it on there, and then you can even supply your own measurements, so I can custom make it for you.
You know what we got feedback. It's gone. Yay! I'm so glad when that kind of stuff goes away. This is an interesting thing. So if you, for example, a good client for you might be one of my Harley girlfriends that loses her husband, or vice versa. That, you know, you could take his t-shirts and make it into a shirt, or any kind of particular hobby, whatever it is, make it into a dress, right?
That's usually what happens. And I have made a Harley dress, by the way, for the same reason.
I think I saw one. I think I'm going to have one of those. I think I'm going to have one of those.
I even have a sitting around waiting for somebody to ask for it. I have a little.
You know, I think that might be what we're going to have to do together. We'll have to have you make one for me. And then maybe we could somehow get Harley Davidson involved and auction it off or something for charity or something. I don't know.
Cool.
We'll sit down and have coffee and Jerry rig a dream on that one to get them to make something. That's so funny. Well, Angela, I really appreciate what you do at Fabric. And by the way, I did go to your website to look for photographers and give all the websites so that and what each one is, so that for the podcast people, when people listen to this podcast, they know how to find you.
Okay, great. So the main building, the incubator's website is fabrictempe.com. That website can take you to all of the other websites. So if you're only going to remember one website, it's that one. But if you're ambitious and you want to go look up each one, the nonprofit is AZ, like Arizona, so azapparelfoundation.org. And then the directory that you use to find your photographers, models, hair, all the people in the fashion industry is labelhorde, labelhorde.com. And then we also have my co-founder's business, which is the manufacturer inside Fabric, and it's azfashionsource.com.
So that's cool. So label hoard, you know, you don't have to just be in fashion for that. So if you're you're doing a wedding or an event, or you have any kind of photography needs or whatever, there's how many people do you have listed on that website?
Oh, it's a good question. It's in the thousands at this point. I'm not really sure, but those are all businesses related to fashion. So there's designers if you need a custom dress or you want to know who to buy from that's local. There's apparel and accessory designers. There's models, hair, makeup, photographers, stores, schools, fashion weeks, sewers, pattern makers. It's the entire industry.
I mean, you know, it's amazing. I just watched a movie, I think it was called The Scientist and the Madman, and it was about the creation of the dictionary. If you go to Redbox right now, it's on Redbox. It's something in the Madman, and it's about the man from Oxford who found this guy, and Mel Gibson plays the man, and then the madman is played by Madonna's ex-husband. What's his name?
Sean Penn.
Sean Penn. Okay, so here's two sex people, right? Sexy actors who are playing these two very serious people, and they actually created the dictionary. Now you don't ever think about that stuff until you. It's a very disturbing film, by the way. I mean, the madman really was a mad. Okay, he had his chronic.
Are you saying I'm crazy?
Okay, I'm saying that to put thousands of people together that do to create a directory of any kind, you have to be a little nut. Okay, I'm just saying. I mean, you have to be a little crazy because you have thousands of people that are in that directory. I mean, it's such an incredible labor of love and an amazing service that you've done to our community and for all of those people. And it's just, I don't think you even totally understand how, when I went and looked and saw the work that you did, I thought, holy crap, when does she sleep?
Thank you.
But wow.
It's passionate for me because I really truly just want to help people. Like I've been a teacher for 20 years because I really love helping people, but by providing the directory, it's enabling people to, network and collaborate. And I think that's really important for our community and for our industry and just for entrepreneurism and for our state and everything. And so it's a pleasure for me to do it. And it's free for a reason. I mean, it's free for all those people to be in there. They can put themselves in there at no cost because I really want it to be a representation of everybody, not just the people that can afford it. And it's free for the public to use it too.
It's such an act of benevolence, Angela. It's amazing to me. But you and I both know something. I've worked, usually when I do a project, I put about 2,000 hours into the project. I end up making about 60 cents an hour, right? If I do sell work, right? I'm not making tons of money on my projects, but I do them because I really believe in entrepreneurs.
Yep.
And I also really believe that art is business and business is art, and that being an example of that's important. And that in order for it to grow, you have to actually start it small and grow it. So you and Sherry Berry are like my heroes because you're bootstrapping all of this stuff. That means, for folks that don't know what bootstrapping means, it means that you guys dip into your own personal budget and you've made this happen with your own personal funds. You don't have like a daddy Warbucks in the background, although we're looking for one, right? You haven't got like a huge bank. You know, you're looking for those people that believe like you guys do, that this is a very important effort and it needs to move forward. Not just because we're all being benevolent, but also it's really super smart business. The fabric industry is.
If somebody succeeds, imagine if somebody out of Arizona becomes, you know, a big brand. It helps all of us. It makes us all look
absolutely.
good.
Absolutely. So the next designer that moves here doesn't have the experience that you had. Designers start to come here because they know they're going to get this kind of support. And the next Versace could be moving here right now, which is an incredible, you know, Versace just top of my head. You know, it's got an I on the end of it, so an Italian name, right? But so you know, I mean, you just never know who that person is going to be. So I'm so impressed with you personally, the creativity that you have, the amount of work that you put into what you do. The benevolence of every single one of the projects that you do, the professionalism and the excellence of every single fashion show that I've seen, been involved in at Fabric. I am a huge fan of you. And I'm so impressed with you and Sherry. And I'm looking forward to, you know, in 10 years, we're going to look back at this and go, remember that time when we were on Relentless Talk Radio and blah, 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 right? And we're going to have a really good story to tell. So thank you for the work that you do. And I look forward to talking to you again. And we have fabric designers coming on every 4 weeks or so. We're going to be interviewing fabric designers here on Relentless Talk Radio so I can continue to support fabric as best I can and help the mission go forward. That's awesome.
Thank you so much for your kind words. You're so sweet. And those words are so encouraging to me. And it's stuff like that that makes me want to keep going. So I appreciate it.
Well, more people need to be saying those. If people just, you know, basically copy what I said and send it back to you in a voicemail or whatever and keep you going. So thanks a lot, Michael. We'll talk to you soon. We'll see you soon, I'm sure, at something. So thanks a lot.
Bye, Michelle. Thank you.
Take care. All right, everybody. So Marcos Garcia Costa is up next. He is an intellectual property attorney. He and I are doing some really awesome work together, some workshops that we have coming on that we want to talk about. But also, I think intellectual property is one of those things that a lot of entrepreneurs don't consider at the start of their business. And I'm kind of like on a mission to get people to think about it a little differently. So I'll be back in just a couple minutes with Marcos. So see you soon.